Good afternoon and good morning. Welcome to session 5 of the Charlie Mike webinar series 22, hosted by the National Veteran Small Business Coalition. Thank you for joining us today. We would like to thank our sponsors, BAE Systems and Philips NA for allowing to make this webinar series possible. A few announcements. Tomorrow will be our networking dinner. And our host is Mr. Shannon Jackson, Director for the Small Business Office of Health and Human Services. If you're in town or in the DC area, please join us tomorrow night for this dinner. And of course, our annual event, VETS22, will be May 18th to the 20th. And we have a lot of people sign up for this conference, and we'd love for you all to join us for this event. So please sign up for VETS22 as soon as you can. Today's webinar is an hour and 15 minutes and is being recorded. The slides and the recording will be available to all attendees by this Friday. If you have any questions during this webinar, please type on the right hand of the screen on your control panel. And of course, I am Earl Morgan, the Program Director for the NVSBC. This is a special webinar we're having today. For the second time, we're having a pitch competition during our VETS conference. And we have with us today Ms. Gloria Larkin. She's President and CEO of Target Gov and a big supporter of the NVSBC. So Gloria, welcome and thank you for being a part of this webinar. The floor will be yours.
Oh, thank you, Earl. I am super, super excited about not just today's webinar, but the whole pitch contest. And we're going to talk about how you can get prepared to present a winning pitch. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Make sure that I have the right screen that I'm sharing.
Have the right screen up.
It is, thank you, because right now I can't see it on the, thank you for letting me know, Earl. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. So as we talk about what is this pitch and why are we doing this? So perfecting your pitch is critical to be able to communicate effectively in a very short period of time at the entire VETS22 conference in Orlando in May. And we are also hosting this exciting contest in which we will have cash prizes as well. So let's go ahead and start going into some of the details. First of all, you know me, I'm Gloria Larkin, President of Target Gov, and we've helped our clients go through these pitches, get prepared for them so that they can have effective industry day meetings, they can have effective capability briefings, they can have effective conferences like the VETS22 Conference. All of your presentations, discussions, and literal elevators rides can be very, very productive after today, because you're going to hear some of the secrets to success. So our agenda over the next hour or so will be all about making your first impressions powerful. And how can you mitigate any perceived risk in doing business with you? Because yes, we're all about a powerful pitch, but ultimately we want you to use that pitch as the door opener at VETS22, but also in every day moving forward as you pursue business in the federal government marketplace. So we want you to mitigate risk in doing business with your company, because that will help during the pitch. We will talk about the various decision makers that you'll be presenting this pitch to, both literally at VETS22 during the program, as well as at industry days or during matchmaking sessions. So you can see that your time today is really very well invested. We'll go through the actual 6 critical elements that every matchmaking pitch must include in order to win the VETS22 pitch contest, and also to position yourself in any other discussion that you're having throughout your business development process. And we are going to cover what the common mistakes are that people make in both the matchmaking pitch and how to submit a video and how to compete live during the VETS22 conference. So, you know, first impressions are really critical. Follow the process that we are going to talk about today. First impressions are multifold. They can be literal physical impressions, you know, how do you look? How do you come across physically during the pitch? As well as how does your company look in first impressions? And what are you communicating during that pitch? You know, think about it. You've been part of many sessions where every business owner has a chance to stand up and give their elevator pitch. Some people, they stand up and they talk for 5 minutes and they sit down and you think to yourself, I have no idea what they do, right? And other people, when they just speak for a very short period of time, it's crystal clear. They made a strong first impression. They enunciated clearly, and you understood what they do and ideally what kind of opportunities they are looking for. So this is why we say don't try to be all things to all people, whether it's in the VETS22 matchmaking sessions or the VETS22 pitch contest or in industry days or any of the other conferences you go to. We see so many small businesses try to cast a very wide net, essentially saying we can do anything you need. When in fact, your pitch, your matchmaking or elevator pitch will be much, much more powerful if you can get the listener focused in on your expertise, what you are really good at doing. So this means leading with your niche, leading with your expertise. And I do realize that many of us feel that, well, is that, or worry that it's going to pigeonhole you into too small of an area of products or services. And I would counsel you, $8 billion later, we've helped our clients win over $8 billion in federal contracts. And all of them started with some sort of relationship building, pitch, capability briefing, matchmaking, a one-on-one, person to person. So as you are telling your story about what you are very good at doing, you want to focus on what you can prove. And this will help you stop trying to be all things to all people and instead now start moving in to the niche expertise that you can prove and maybe even tell a story about during your elevator pitch and the elevator pitch competition. By the way, we are going to answer questions throughout today's session and at the end. So as you think of questions at any time, just go ahead and type them in as Earl had suggested. And if we can answer them during the content, I'll be happy to do that. And we'll definitely answer them at the end as well. So in mitigating risk, you do that essentially by talking about your past performance. if any companies that are on today's call do not yet have past performance somewhere, it can be in the federal government, it can be in the city, county, state, or local governments. It could be in the private sector, past performance with other companies or the commercial marketplace. Heck, it could even be with consumers if it's appropriate. So your past performance can range through all of those customers and be totally effective to use during your elevator pitch, your matchmaking pitch, your capability briefing, all of those interactions. But you want to make sure and focus in on the experience that proves you are an expert at something. Because the government or prime contractors want to be assured that you know what the heck you're doing. They don't want to take any risks on working with someone or awarding a contract to someone who comes across as trying to be all things to all people. And when we say be professional, you know, in written communications, that means make sure your email is professional. Don't use Gmail. Don't use Yahoo or Verizon. Instead, always have your web address in your email domain name. But your website needs to look professional, because after you give a killer pitch, they're going to go look at your website. Make sure there's no typos or grammar issues on your website. And for visuals, printed visuals, like a capability statement, please don't use stock art or clip art. If you're going to use graphics or artwork, make sure it's related to you, your people, your company, your projects. That's when it really has impact. And being professional in person. So when you do your video, you want to look professional. You know, this is a very buttoned up marketplace. Most men will be in sport coats or suits with ties. Most women will be in a business professional attire, whether that's whatever that is, but business professional. Your video should come across that way as well. If you consistently are dressed in business casual, corporate logo shirt, that is fine to do as well. But I would make sure that you are ready for your close-up. You know, make sure the hair's combed, you know, women that you're looking the way you want to appear, men, you know, how do you want to appear in this video? Because that will be part of how you come across professionally to the judges, first of the video, and then for those 10 finalists who will be able to compete live and in person, it will be on the stage. So while we want you to be comfortable, we also want you to knock their socks off with your professionalism, your professional appearance, your professional demeanor. And you'll notice one thing, that when you hear me, I am actually speaking slower than normal conversation. So when you're practicing your pitch, slow it down slower than you normally speak. And make sure you enunciate clearly. That's one of the biggest challenges we have when we are hearing people with their own matchmaking pitch or at a in an elevator pitch, definitely in the contest. We've had these issues before. People are excited, they're nervous, they talk really fast, you can't understand what they're saying. My name is Gloria Larkin, Target Gov, and it starts just all running together. So in practicing your pitch, I would suggest you video yourself and time it to make sure that, first of all, you're at or under the 90-second limit. We'll go through the requirements a few slides in a few minutes. But that cadence or speed of your voice is important, because when we speak too quickly, people will not understand everything you're saying. They won't understand what your name is. They may not understand what your company is if you just say it too quickly. And they certainly won't understand what your expertise is in services or products if you're speaking too fast. And take it from me, it doesn't feel natural to speak slowly, but the more you practice it, the better you will be. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the background steps, what I would like you to get ready for in prepping for this pitch contest. First, Perfector registrations in SAM and SBA. And you're thinking, what? What does that have to do with anything? Well, what you don't know, you may not know, and hopefully you're learning, is that the government is now using artificial intelligence and data scraping tools to limit the companies that they look for when they're searching for particular products and services. So when you do a great job with your matchmaking pitch and they go to check you out at SAM and SBA, you want to look perfect. If you have questions how to do this, happy to talk with you. In the next slide, we'll have a few details. Then you want to create a strong niche statement as it relates to your services or products. I would caution you to eliminate anything about your being proud or that you're happy to, because that's really not what we're talking about. You know, I'm proud to be a woman-owned blah, 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 or I'm happy to be here. Don't waste words. Instead, get a very strong niche statement focused on your experience, what past performance you have, and focused on the target ideally. Now, I know we're going to have at least 3 judges at the pitch contest. We'll give you a little bit of insight about them in just a few minutes as well. But this is more about your overall capability briefing, your overall matchmaking pitch that you'll give in person at VETS22, as well as the contest. Contest is fun, cash prizes. Who doesn't love that? But this will have a longer and overall benefit to you over and over and over again, especially at any matchmaking scenario or one-on-one capability briefing that you have with decision makers. Practice, practice, practice. Write it down and then speak it, time it without watching the time. Just say it without watching the time. Just mark the start and the stop to determine, am I talking for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or a minute and a half, or, oh my gosh, did I finish this in 30 seconds and I really need to beef it up? So it's important for you to actually say it based on your voice, your cadence, and the natural timing that you have. Once you do that, you can determine, do I need to beef it up? Because you don't want to have a 30-second pitch if we're giving you 90 seconds. You really can't get the whole story across in 30 seconds. You do want to take up almost all of the 90 seconds. Just don't go over. Don't go to 91 seconds, because then it will be too long. Ideally, you'll have a written capability statement that you can use to help you think this through. You know, your capability statement has past performance in it. It has your niche or expertise succinctly listed. It has your socioeconomic certifications like veteran or service disabled veteran, etc. It also will detail what is unique about your company. So if you have a written capability statement, you can start using that as a framework around this 90-second elevator pitch. Let's talk a little bit more about perfecting your registration. How do you look, your registrations look in the eyes of federal decision makers, whether they're prime contractors, teaming partners, or government agency personnel themselves? Do you have keywords that you'll be using? For instance, if you're in information technology, that's not a keyword phrase. That's just too broad. You need to describe what kind of information technology services you're offering, or what kind of program management you're offering, or what kind of data analytics you're doing, or the products that you're providing. Instead of saying we offer IT products, go into specifics. If you're a manufacturer, be very specific about what you're manufacturing. If you're in construction, get detailed. Do you construct VA clinics? Do you construct office buildings? Do you do road construction? Exactly to what level of detail is going to be needed to share with these decision makers so that they get a very clear picture of what you offer. Those keywords and phrases go into SAM.gov. If you're not sure where they go, just shoot us here an email at target.gov and we'll let you know where those keywords go. They also go in your SBA profile, which we have the website noted, dsbs.sba.gov on the screen. So there's both databases at the minimum that use these specific keywords and phrases that you'll also work into your matchmaking pitch. And why do perfect registrations even matter, for Pete's sake? You know, if you're thinking, well, SAM is SAM, Gloria, and you know, SBA is SBA. How bad could it be? I have a little bit of a shocking information for you. And you may or may not know, we've been in business 25 years. So, and in that 25 years, we've helped thousands of clients. And in just the last few years, they have won over $8 billion with a B dollars since we started tracking Prime Awards. And so what I'm going to tell you now is based on reality. This is not, wouldn't it be nice if? So what is important about perfect registrations? Well, on this screen that's almost blank right now, you see a blue line and then less than 2%, and then a big number in red that 98% will fail the first cut. And what do we mean by that? In typically scoring your SAM and your SBA profile, somebody who scores an A clearly sets themselves apart from competition. You're memorable. You're not risky. These are the people who are going to win the pitch competition by being memorable, not risky, clearly standing apart from competition. Other companies who score B, they have a possible chance, but they're not crisp. They're not clearly talking about their differentiators and past performance. A's and B's are less than 2% of all small businesses. 98% of small businesses either come across as average, which means you're not going to win. You're not going to win a pitch competition or a contract if you're average. Average, unfortunately, is failure. Worse, D means you're on life support. And the companies that are on life support, for instance, as an example, will have no past performance listed in their SBA profile. So action item for you, as soon as we're done today, look at your SBA profile and see if you have past performance noted. 98% of you will not. And that will kill you, because that will make it difficult for you even to verbalize effectively in your pitch contest what your past performance is. So it's really important to grab hold of how to talk about your past performance in the private sector, in city, county, state, or local government, and of course in the federal government. Happy to talk to you if you have any questions about this before the pitch contest or before you record your submission. And unfortunately, F means you're dead in the water. And yes, there are many small businesses that totally do not represent themselves well in the federal government marketplace, don't have past performance, may not even have live SAM registration, it's expired. Holy cow, all of that we see every day. So who are you going to see at VETS22? Who are you going to give your pitches to? And how will you be judged? So the government decision makers, we're going to talk first about government and then we'll go into business. So we have two different types of decision makers here. The government decision makers, the small business office, absolutely. They will be represented at the conference. They'll be at matchmaking tables. They will be looking forward to connecting with you. Contracting officers are often focused on the rules and regulations. You know, they're not so interested in only the fact that you're a small business or what type of small business. That would only come into play if you're using it as a contract vehicle. For instance, a sole source. If you wanted to be a sole source company at the VA, for instance. So contracting officers, they don't want to hear the technical expertise. They want to know that you know the rules, the regulations. You're not going to do something silly that is illegal, like sell something that's from China and represent it as something that you made. I just read a decision that came down. Somebody went to jail for 8 years for doing that. 8 years. That's pretty hefty. Well, they also sold a lot of things from China that they misrepresented as coming from their own, manufactured by their own company. Who does things like that? Well, criminals do, and now they're in jail. Anyway, let's get back to the decision makers. Program managers, these are the people that actually want to hear how you do what you do. And these are the people, for you technical experts, that you love because you can talk about what your expertise is, to the program level, the technical managers, the COTARs, and the end users. They're actually using your services and products. So your pitches need to be focused a little differently to each one. And I see that Yvonne has asked a question. I'm going to read it. Do you have examples of a 90-second pitch that meets all the requirements and some that don't? Well, most of them that don't are available through YouTube, etc. We're going to give you the format, Yvonne, in just a few slides of exactly the content that you should use in order to meet the requirements of this 90-second elevator pitch. Of course, you'll tailor it to your own words, your own services, your own products. But bear with me for a minute, I'm getting there. So the decision makers. Now, these will be your judges at the matchmaking pitch. We will have 3 judges, maybe 4, and most of them will be prime contractors. There may be a service provider as part of that. There may even be a government decision maker. So we're holding that secret so that you will be flexible in your pitch information. Anticipate that you know prime contractors will be judging you, and potentially government, as well as perhaps a banker, perhaps somebody providing bonding, perhaps someone else providing CPA work. So just know that you want to have your pitch be rounded enough that it will appeal to all of these people that we've been talking about. Okay, now Yvonne, now we're getting into now you know the whys and how much you're going to use this pitch after the fact. The who said it best elevator pitch competition. We want you to develop this 90-second matchmaking pitch to communicate specific offerings matching the target's current needs. So if you were matchmaking during VETS22, you will know ahead of time who you will be sitting down at the table with in matchmaking, which is different from the elevator pitch. In matchmaking, you'll have more than 90 seconds to talk about what you do and how they need you, but you will get business out of it if you focus in on your range of services or products that meet their stated needs, either in their forecast of upcoming opportunities or the actual sources sought notices that have come out recently, or those recompete contracts that you know are coming up. Remember not to set yourself up saying we do everything. Instead, you want to get very focused in on the niche expertise that you can prove with metrics. Okay, let's talk about what are those 6 critical sentences in your 90-second matchmaking or elevator pitch. The first one, holy cow, you'd be surprised how many people forget to say your name, your title, and your company. And we're going to give you a hint. We need to hear your company name 3 times throughout this 90 seconds. So, hi, I'm Gloria Larkin, president of Target Gov. You want to say your name, your title, and your company name. Start off very clear. Slowly enunciate it. Don't speed through it. If you have an accent, really practice enunciating so that people listening to your video or in a crowded room like VETS22, where we're in the entire ballroom, you want to enunciate clearly so that you are easily understood and therefore memorable. The next is we provide. What is it that you provide? Services? Do you provide products? Who do you provide it to? Now, remember, it's 90 seconds. Believe it or not, these 6 sentences can be said in like 15 seconds. So you want to flesh it out with your own services, your own experience, your own story that gets your point across, who you are, your level of expertise, and what makes you so different. So, but you do want to be clear on what you provide. Then the next sentence would be what your niche is. You could say our core competencies. There you're speaking government speak by calling it core competencies. This is a phrase that resonates in the federal government marketplace. If you're not comfortable saying core competencies, you could say our niche is, or we are expert at. The next sentence, now this is something, it's funny how many people feel awkward about saying they're the absolute best. You know, for instance, here at Target Gov, we would say we are the absolute best at helping our clients win billions in federal contracts. So what are you the absolute best at that you can then support with metrics? So for instance, let's say for you install cable. You work with construction projects where they're building new offices and you need to install cabling in all of those offices. So you would say something along the lines of, we are the absolute best at working with architects and construction firms in designing cabling systems for all types of communication and security systems. As a matter of fact, we have laid over 5,000 miles of cabling on our projects in the last 10 years. So by explaining what you do, what you're absolute best at, and then proving it with a metric, that is very, very, very powerful. Then after the absolute best, the next sentence would be something along the lines of, we are different. So let's say you offer a brand name product. Let's say you provide Microsoft. You know, there's a lot of companies that provide Microsoft products. How are you different than all of the other companies that they perceive to do exactly the same thing? Are you different because you have a certain on-time delivery, proof of on-time delivery? Are you different because your people go through specific trainings and are certified in that Microsoft product, and therefore you can claim a certain level of expertise with that product? Are you different because you have a policy to hire veterans, or you're located in a hub zone and your policy is to hire underserved community residents so that you can help the community? What is it about your company that makes you different? So core competencies and products. Another question has come in, and let me see if I can address this. Are core competencies the same thing as products? Not really. So products are what you sell, but why did you choose to sell those and not a competitive product? What about those products and your delivery of them would make you different than other companies that sell and deliver the same products? So we're happy to have further conversations with anyone on today's live call, or if you're listening to this as a recording and you're just struggling with some of these points, shoot us an email, give us a call. We'll be happy to have a brief conversation with you to help you fine tune some of this so that you'll have a better chance of A, winning the pitch competition, and B, being more memorable when you're actually working with the matchmaking session or speaking at a capability briefing with a decision maker one-on-one. The 6, I said there were 6 critical sentences. The 6 sentences, how can you help them? So this shows that you've put some thought into how your products or your services can benefit whomever you're speaking with. I'm going to give you another caution. Try not to use superlatives. What do I mean by superlatives? This would be saying something like, we're best in class, or we are best in breed. You know, I hear that a lot. Those 2 phrases, I hear that so much, especially with IT companies, saying we're best in class, or, you know, we're world famous, when in fact, those mean nothing. And they actually will diminish you in the eyes of the listener. Now, an exception to that rule is if you have won something. You know, if you did win a world famous something, then of course say it. And this is where some of you can say something like this. If you've won an award from an agency, let's say, for instance, you won an award as the top 8A firm, or the top veteran-owned firm, or service-disabled veteran-owned firm, then you absolutely want to say we are different because we were named Northrop Grumman's Supplier of the Year for supplying XYZ. That is indeed a worthwhile mention. But what is not would be like Inc. 500 or Inc. 5000, because that really has no play in the federal government marketplace. I know you're very proud of it, and you should be, because as business awards, the Inc. 5000 awards mean something, but not in the government space. So if you're going to mention awards, not as in contracts, but as in an award that you were competed for, make sure it's relevant to the government decision maker that you're talking about. This number 6 sentence, we can help you. We can help your agency if you're talking to an agency decision maker. If you're talking to someone within an office, within an agency, we can help your department or office. Or we can help your company if you're talking to another business person, like a prime contractor. So I'm going, as an aside for the judges that we will have at the conference, please don't poison the well by reaching directly out to the judges beforehand. That is a no-no. You will see them listed eventually through the program at VETS22. Please do not reach out to them ahead of time. That will get you disqualified from the contest, and we don't want that to happen. So instead, do your research first And once you know who the judges are, you'll want to fine tune your elevator pitch around who will be sitting in that room judging. So how can you help their office, their company, or their agency? If you're talking to a prime contractor, what is it that would be a benefit that you bring to the table? For instance, do you already have a relationship with the government agency that the contract is for? Does someone in that agency already want to work with you? That would be a great connection for the prime contractor. From a product standpoint, are you offering something that they don't know about yet? Or a new version of something that they already have as proven and tested technology that they know and like, and now you can improve upon it? And how can you improve upon it? Does it use less energy? Is it cleaner to the environment? Will it help them reduce personnel needs and overhead issues? All of those will come into play in how you can help that particular target. And if you can wrap this up in a story, that is really a memorable way to do it. For instance, you could say, let me tell you about a contract that we were awarded. Last year, and I'm not mentioning any companies, I'm just making this up on the fly right now, but I want to give you an idea of how to use this in a story. So we are a construction firm specializing in federal government construction. And last year, we won a contract to install the lighting system for Air Force One. The reason that we won that contract was that we provided unique products that were LED lighting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You start telling the story about what was different about you and that project. We were also able to complete the project in a much shorter timeline and working during the off hours, so we were not impacting any of the activities around Air Force One. So you want to be able to tell them how flexible you are, if that's one of your hallmarks. We were different from other companies because as a veteran-owned and service-disabled veteran company, we have the expertise in LED lighting in difficult situations. You go into more details about what makes you different. And from a construction standpoint, we realize that the federal government is expanding infrastructure construction and infrastructure related needs, and particularly interested in green solutions that will cut energy, reduce energy cost, as well as contribute to keeping the environment clean, XYZ. So there you can see I worked in most of those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences into a story that they can get a picture of lighting Air Force One. They're a veteran, they're different. All of that can come across very nicely in a story. And that way you don't have to tell them every story about every project. Just focus on one that gets all of these points across. Okay, so I hope that's helped you understand about more ways to focus these 6 sentences instead of just writing them out exactly as is. You can start putting them into your own words, incorporating your niche, incorporating some past performance that you can talk about that tells the story of your competencies and what makes you different. So now let's talk about this video. Why are we even doing a video ahead of time? Well, there's a number of different reasons. So this is not our first elevator pitch contest. And through the various iterations of the 6 or 7 that we've done through the years, we've found that these videos serve multiple purposes. For instance, once you do this video, you can use it a number of different ways. You can put it on your LinkedIn, on your website, you can attach it to your emails. There's so many ways that you can then start using this to market your company in your own elevator pitch. So as you're practicing, you're doing your videos, whether it's on your phone or whatever tool you're going to use to record the video, make sure it's not over 90 seconds. If it's over 90 seconds, you will be eliminated. We don't want you to be eliminated. It can be under, but I'd really strive to get to that 85 to 90 second timeline so that you're not too short and you're certainly not going over. We want you to upload it to your YouTube channel, your own company's YouTube channel. If you don't have a YouTube channel, this is a perfect reason to start one. It's easy, it doesn't cost a dime. We would want you to upload it and put the hashtags in Who Said It Best and VETS22. Hashtag Who Said It Best and hashtag VETS2022. Also, once you've uploaded it, you email us here at TargetGov to the events@targetgov.com to let us know your video is ready for us to review and score. We've already started getting them. Very excited that they're already being uploaded. And now that you know the format and what to include, you're going to be able to upload it yourself. After we receive your email, we are going to reply and send you some graphics that you can use to promote it. You can use these graphics on your website, on your YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you use. You can start getting the word out. We want you to market your company and benefit by this. You can promote your entry submission to the Who Said It Best elevator pitch competition over and over again. It will get you more exposure. And everybody in the federal government marketplace loves strong, focused, great exposure. Do you only need to do one elevator pitch? No, but we will only grade one. So you can have many elevator pitches, different versions of it as you would like to have, but we need to know which one you want submitted for the VETS22 conference to be scored. And then the top 10 candidates will then be invited to participate live and in person at the conference in the Who Said It Best elevator pitch competition. This will be live and in front of the entire event. So yes, this can be daunting. I know that a lot of people say, oh my God, I don't want to do that live and in front of people. Speaking in public is the most frightening thing to do for the vast majority of people. I get that. And it is so worth working through your trepidation or concern and even fear to do this. because if you make it to the top 10, you really have something good there that you want the community at large to hear. The event, everyone, the primes, the exhibitors, the small businesses, the government entities, everyone will have a chance to hear you during the pitch competition, which in and of itself is awesome. You can't get that kind of exposure unless you do something like this. And for those of you who do not make it to the top 10, we are still going to help you with some complimentary coaching after the conference so that you'll be able to learn from your experience and then apply it to future conferences, future matchmaking sessions, and one-on-one capability briefings that we hope you are really pursuing now that we're in the second half of the federal fiscal year. So I'm tracking to see if we have any other questions that have come in. It looks like we have answered the two. Sharon, if there's any others, let me know. And please do ask questions. Now's the time. Okay, I see one that's come in, and I'm glad you're asking this. This is asking, do we create a commercial like a PowerPoint, or should this be just a person talking on the video? Well, that is your choice in what to present. We have scored both, and both of them can score very highly. So if you decide to submit a video that has graphics and other elements, maybe even PowerPoint slides, or you're doing a live video, you're taking, for instance, at one point somebody panned across their manufacturing plant so that you could see all of the manufacturing going on, and then the voice behind it was saying those 6 sentences. You know, that can be a pretty powerful kind of video to have on your website or on your LinkedIn. Know that we will not show that video during the competition. The competition is a person standing on the dais saying the 90-second pitch. However, you can still create this. Remember, you can have more than one creation of a elevator pitch for this contest. So if you have questions, further questions about it, please do let us know. Question about, will there be food buyers at the event? I don't know the answer to that. That would be a great question for the event itself. And I'd reach out, if I were you, just send a question to the folks at the NVSBC who are coordinating the event, and they'll let you know if there will be food buyers there. I sell a consumer product. How can the last sentence be worded? We can help your agency buy. William, that's something that I'd like you to think about, because if you're selling a consumer product, how would the agency benefit? Is that consumer product to be sold through how? How would you ask them to sell it? Is it like personal care products that you want to go to soldiers? Is it food, as an example? How would they benefit? Is it because it's organic, or is it because of the way it's manufactured or grown or farmed or packaged? You know, what is it about the product or food that would benefit the exact customer? I love reading some of the comments. I appreciate you sending them in. Joseph says, I have used my video numerous times very successfully. Can I work something out to integrate it with my in-person presentation? We are focusing on the in-person elevator pitch because if you're stuck in an elevator, there will be no way to show a video. So it's fine to submit it, and the judges who are scoring the videos will take into account the verbiage, the words that you're talking about during the video, but the video itself is not going to be shown at the contest. But don't let that stop you. We saw some very cool videos that our contestants ended up using effectively after the conference. So this is a beautiful thing about this pitch contest. It has life after the contest that you can benefit by. Oh, William, you sell alcoholic products at liquor stores. Oh, we should talk offline about that because I'm not quite sure if this is the right marketplace for you for alcoholic beverages, but I prefer bourbon. Anyway, we can talk offline about that. So I want to thank you all. If you come up with additional questions that we have not yet answered, at the bottom of every slide, there is an email, and it's questions@targetgov.com. So you can send your questions in anytime, 24/7. They will reach us and we will reply to you. Whether it's a question about this elevator pitch contest coming up at VETS22, yes, because we're going to have cash prizes and it will be quite exciting. Very excited about all of that. And as we wrap up today, I want to know you'll receive handouts that will send you, yes, the slides. We're going to send you the Target Gov Rule of 3 and something else called an event engagement planning and execution process form. It's fancy, but it means what do you need to do before VETS22, during VETS22, and after VETS22 to make this one of the most productive events you've ever been to in your entire business life. We're going to give you that. So thank you so much, Earl. I think we've gotten all of the questions live so far, and I'll look forward to any more that get sent in the future.
Okay, thank you so much. As a reminder for all attendees, we will be sending out the slides and the recording this Friday. So check your emails for this important information if you're going to be part of the pitch competition. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait for VETS22, and it's going to be in Orlando, Florida at the Doubletree Hotel, right by SeaWorld. So if you're not part of the pitch competition, you go and see some whales. So, so again, thank you so much, Gloria, for all your for giving us vital information about the pitch competition and some other tidbits. I took some notes, especially I am originally a New Yorker. To speak slowly is the key, because being from New York, you know how fast we speak. And even
Yes.
my wife asked me for dinner. She goes, "What you want for dinner?" I go, "Blah blah 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 blah." She goes, "What you just say?" So, so there's a lot of key notes in this presentation. Please take them to heart. Especially be professional with the emails, with the photos. We all got cameras on our phones. So if you go to a conference, any conference or any events that you go to, don't be shy. Take a picture and put it on your website. That's what I do. So yeah, so there's lots of good information on this webinar. Don't be like me and have Batman in the background while doing a presentation. So so thank you so much for everybody for being a part of this presentation. Thank you, Gloria, again, my friend, for doing this for us. I can't wait until VETS22, and we be seeing you. VETS22 is next month, so I'll be seeing everybody next month for the conference. So
Absolutely.
again, if you're not part of the pitch competition, please join us for VETS. It's a very tight-knit community. We like helping other vets. I mean, the veterans that go to this conference are fantastic. So please do come to be part of this conference. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to sending out the video and the slides on Friday. Thank you all. Take care.
Bye-bye.